This is the Sic Em Podcast, presented by your friend in the car business, Alan Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat in Waco. Online at alansamuelsdcj.com. The Sic Em Podcast is a production of Baylor Athletics. Now, here are your hosts, Brooke Bednarz and the voice of the Bears, John Morris.
And welcome into our inaugural Sic Em Podcast. We're glad you're with us. John Morris, Brooke Bednarz from Baylor Vision, and we're joined by Baylor's Vice President and Director of Athletics, Mack Rhoades. And, Mack, when I say it's good to see you, it really is good to see you. Let everybody know we have been working from home for the most part, but we have come together in my office. We've separated as much as we could in my office, but it's great to be face-to-face with y'all and be able to record this with you.
It is. It's a good thing, John, that you've got a huge office. And just so everybody knows, we have formed a triangle
Yes.
and have pulled the tape measure out, and we are at least 6 feet apart.
That's right.
So,
That's right.
We are practicing our social distancing.
We are nothing if we're not compliant. So we're doing the best we can here. A lot of things we want to touch on with you. We appreciate your time. Know that you are really busy during this time, and folks may find that a little bit surprising, but you really are busy. I mean, you've got a lot of things going on.
Yeah, I mean, I am as busy as as if we were, in normal circumstances. And, it's probably a different type of busy, right? And, a lot of it spent, how do we continue to conduct business during unprecedented times and make plans, for things that really are uncertain and at this point in time. So just a lot of time spent, a lot of communication, right? I think during crisis, the best thing that you can do is probably over-communicate. And, that certainly takes a lot of time and a lot of planning. So staying busy and it's a good busy.
I know people are probably wondering, but what is your current day-to-day kind of looking like?
Yeah, so, I try to stay away from the office as best as possible and try to lead by example, which I always don't do a great job of. So, I'm trying to get into this rhythm of really working from home on Tuesdays and Thursdays and then coming in, Mondays and Wednesdays and Fridays. It's really hard not to come in just because of the type of work and just some of the resources and things that I need here in the office. But, that's been the rhythm, and it's been working, fairly well. So, it's interesting because you really don't realize how much you miss people until they're not around, right?
That's
and
true.
just the socializing, just to be able to see them face to face, it's different than still conversing over Zoom or Microsoft Teams, right? And so you miss that connection, or I find myself missing that connection.
Unfortunately, you've had some experience in dealing and working through crisis situations in the past. What are some things you've been through that maybe you can draw upon now that we're going through this?
Yeah, I think every crisis that I've been through, it's been unique, but there's always some guiding principles. We went through a period of time at the University of Houston where we had a death in one of our head coaches, had an unfortunate and untimely death, and we had some really financial crisis there where we had to undergo furloughs and those things. And then Missouri, well documented, all of the race issues on campus and boycott of or threatened boycott, because it never happened, of the football team. And then you think about when I first arrived here at Baylor, just really a divided family, and so have been through a lot and others. And I think in terms of guiding principles, I always think about, getting back to basics, getting back to fundamentals, right? At the end of the day, we need to get back to our roots and to those fundamentals and again, talking about just the over communication, right? And just making sure that you don't have a bunch of different voices speaking into it, right? There has to be more than ever a hierarchy, and that doesn't, it comes across, I think, if people are listening, maybe a little bit self-serving, but you can't have 8-10 people in control, 10 different voices, right? You have to have this hierarchy of communication structure, right? Now, at the top, you better be doing a terrific job of reaching out and listening and asking for input, right? That you're not making decisions, formulating decisions in a vacuum, that you're doing it, collaboratively, and we're continuing to do that. The executive team is continuing to meet regularly, at least once a week, if not more. Our what we'd call our executive team with our sport program administrators who touch our sport programs, on a daily basis. We're meeting with them at least on a weekly basis, and then we're also providing weekly communication, touching base with what we call our leadership team, which is our executive team, our sport program administrators, and our head coaches. And I'm trying to find time as well to call each head coach and just touch base and make sure that they're doing okay. So, those are the things that, at least fundamentally, as you go through crisis, that you think about.
What are some of those conversations with our head coaches across the board? What are they kind of been touching on? What's their maybe biggest concern right now?
I think, it's all of our concern, right, is just staying connected with our student athletes. We have so many of them, 500 plus student athletes that went home, wherever that may be for them. I think the latest count is we had 107 student athletes here in the Waco area. 17 of those are Waco residents. So, really 90 that, are from other places that have stayed here for any given reason. But and even those that are in the Waco area, because, we're shut down, right, you still have to find a way to communicate with them as well. And so really that's been the number one concern is how do we stay connected, is how do we, help to put some structure in place for them. If you're a student athlete, there is so much structure, right? You think about their day, and there's not a lot of free time, right? There is an appointment for almost every hour of the day, whether it's something, academically related, classes, tutoring appointments, right? Those items, whether it's character formation items, whether it's, practice, right? Film review, right? Skill development, strength and conditioning, right? And all of a sudden now they go home and none of that structure is in place, right? And so again, trying to stay connected to them, and I know this is a really long answer, but you worry about the mental health piece, and so I think collectively that's been a lot of our conversation. And how do we move forward? What does that structure look like? The Big 12 announced its athletics or its activities policy that is in place up through May 31st, and so again, talking about what that looks like with each of our head coaches.
Truck Month may be over elsewhere, but at Allen Samuels, we drive forward. Ram Truck Month continues on Motor Trend's Truck of the Year. Choose from hundreds in stock or delivered with a snap of a finger through our multiple locations and partnerships. Allen Samuels follows best practices for a safe environment, easy turnkey online purchase and credit apps, and free pickup and delivery for any auto service. Waco's most trusted dealer, Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat.
Come by, let's be friends.
Bentwood Realty is a full-service real estate firm with more than 70 high-achieving agents who desire to make a positive impact in their local communities. Their agents stay actively involved in all buying, selling, and investing real estate transactions to make sure their clients receive the utmost level of service. Established in 2011 by brokers Kim Galvan and Rick Hines, both proud Baylor alumni. Call Bentwood Realty today, 254-300-4800. They're at 601 Lake Air Drive in Waco and BentwoodRealty.com.
If you need a trailer, Flat Rock Trailers has got you covered. From light-duty single-axle utility trailers to the Big Tex tandem duals. We also carry a full line of enclosed cargo trailers. Need a motorcycle trailer? We've got them. Need a dump trailer? We've got the largest selection in the state. Oil field trailers? We carry a full line of Big Tex trailers to handle all your needs. Trailer repairs? We repair all makes and models. We'll even rent you a trailer if you need to use one for a day. Flat Rock Trailers, your #1 source for all your trailer needs. Find us at flatrocktrailers.com.
Relationships, community, home. Now more than ever, these are the things that we're holding fast to. Home should restore us from today and ready us for tomorrow. It's where stories are told and relationships are forged. Within those walls, memories are made, laughter is shared, and family is gathered around the table. For these reasons, we believe in home, and that right now, there is no better place to be. If you and your family are looking to buy or sell a home, head over to MagnoliaRealty.com. Magnolia is a proud sponsor of Baylor Athletics.
Now, back to the Sic Em Podcast, presented by your friend in the car business, Alan Samuels, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat.
What about from a Big 12 level, you as athletic directors around the league, and understand, am I right, you're the chairman of that group. What are those conversations like right now?
Yeah, so we are meeting weekly, virtually, every Tuesday. And, I think early on we spent a lot of dialogue and conversation, just speaking into this activities policy. What can we or can't we do with our student athletes moving forward? What's acceptable virtually? What can we do from a nutritional standpoint? What can we send nutritional supplements? And you think it's crazy, but it's down to all of those details. Can we send food items? Can we not send food items? Is it just protein powders? What are we doing to make sure that we're still taking care of them? What can we do from a physical training standpoint? What can we send to them, right? All of those different things, and trying to, have a sense of uniformity throughout the conference, and then, also trying to do it throughout, just intercollegiate athletics. And so a lot of conversation amongst the A5, the Autonomous 5 conferences as to what might this uniformity look like, and so that we can try to keep everybody on a level playing field. And so a lot of that, a lot of it has been about that, about that piece of it, and then we're beginning to start to have conversation about football and the return of football, and the conversation right now, I think, from a national standpoint, is as it pertains to intercollegiate athletics, is dominated by football. And it's because it's such a big part, a huge part of every athletic department in terms of revenue, right? And so I don't know that there's very many of us. In fact, I was speaking to a group earlier today that there's literally probably a handful, maybe is a better way to say it, a handful of the 129, 130 FBS programs out there that have enough cash reserve that they could withstand not having a football season. Everybody else is really dependent upon, the TV revenue derived from it, the ticket money derived from it, the sponsorship money derived from it, the licensing that's tied to it, the concessions, all of those things. And so really, really important that we find a way to play a football season. Not sure exactly what that looks like today. And obviously, to be able to do it in a very safe manner, right? So, again, that's where our conversations are leading right now, and we're beginning to spend a lot of time talking about that.
What is the recruiting situation looking like right now? I know that from the NCAA, there have been some rules and regulations that have come down. How is that affecting Baylor coaches?
I think our coaches are making the very best of it. The NCAA just decided to extend. They extended the dead period. The first first deadline was dead period through April 15th. And then they just extended it through May 31st, which, I think we all support. It's the right idea, right? Prevents any, in person, on campus, any of those type things. You can still call and make connections. And so you're still able to do those things and to recruit. But none of it, as I mentioned, can be in person, et cetera. And so, again, I think uniformity, providing a balance, a level playing field for all institutions, and again, still with the capability of having conversation with prospective student athletes.
Do you feel like that there is agreement among the A5 schools, athletic directors coming from the NCAA? I mean, is everybody pulling in the same direction in that area right now?
Yeah, I think mainly yes. I think that there's a spirit of cooperation, right? And I think for the most part, everybody is kind of taking off their self-interest hat, right, and saying, hey, what's best for the industry? And, I always think that's really easy to do if we say, hey, not just what's best for our industry, but what's best for our student athletes, right? What's best for our prospective student athletes, and to really try to humanize it. And so, again, I think collectively, certainly not perfect, but I think, again, we're trying to at least all row same direction, pull the rope in the same direction.
We should have done this to start, but you and your family, everybody's well, everybody's healthy.
Yeah, everybody is healthy and well and doing terrific, and just for everybody listening, and just praying that everybody's families and friends are staying safe and healthy, and really taking the circumstances, right, this pandemic seriously. And and I'll be the first to admit that when this first, we're all in Kansas City, right, and we're having conversations amongst the ADs right before the first two games were to tip off, and we made that decision. All right, well, tonight, because it's so late, we're going to play those games with the fans, and then next day we're going to start without fans, right? And felt really good about that. And before we knew it, within 24 hours, tournament was canceled. And I'm not sure my mind was exactly wrapped around just how serious this is and how serious it could be. And so, again, just, asking everybody to please, take care. None of us are invincible, and to make sure we look out for our brothers and sisters.
Bentwood Realty is a full-service real estate firm with more than 70 high-achieving agents who desire to make a positive impact in their local communities. Their agents stay actively involved in all buying, selling, and investing real estate transactions to make sure their clients receive the utmost level of service. Established in 2011 by brokers Kim Galvan and Rick Hines, both proud Baylor alumni. Call Bentwood Realty today, 254-300-4800. They're at 601 Lake Air Drive in Waco and BentwoodRealty.com.
If you need a trailer, Flat Rock Trailers has got you covered. From light-duty single-axle utility trailers to the big Tex tandem duals. We also carry a full line of enclosed cargo trailers. Need a motorcycle trailer? We've got them. Need a dump trailer? We've got the largest selection in the state. Oilfield trailers? We carry a full line of big Tex trailers to handle all your needs. Trailer repairs? We repair all makes and models. We'll even rent you a trailer if you need to use one for a day. Flat Rock Trailers, your #1 source for all your trailer needs. Find us at flatrocktrailers.com.
Relationships, community, home. Now more than ever, these are the things that we're holding fast to. Home should restore us from today and ready us for tomorrow. It's where stories are told and relationships are forged. Within those walls, memories are made, laughter is shared, and family is gathered around the table. For these reasons, we believe in home, and that right now, there is no better place to be. If you and your family are looking to buy or sell a home, head over to magnoliarealty.com. Magnolia is a proud sponsor of Baylor Athletics.
Truck Month may be over elsewhere, but at Allen Samuels, we drive forward. Ram Truck Month continues on Motor Trend's Truck of the Year. Choose from hundreds in stock or delivered with a snap of a finger through our multiple locations and partnerships. Allen Samuels follows best practices for a safe environment, easy turnkey online purchase and credit apps and free pickup and delivery for any auto service. Waco's most trusted dealer, Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat.
Come by, let's be friends.
Those days in Kansas City, that was a whirlwind of a few days as everything kind of came to a screeching halt. But before then, there was a lot to celebrate with our basketball basketball programs this year.
Yeah, there was, and that's where that's some of the heartache and the pain, because as human beings, right? Your first thing is what if we would have been able to play the conference tournaments, and what if we would have been able to play the NCAA tournaments. And but I think the positive, and there's always a positive, is, man, what great moments throughout the year, right, that both programs provided. And just an unbelievable on both sides, both men and women, the seniors, right, and another Big 12 conference championship for regular season conference championship for women's basketball, and college game day, coming to the Farrell Center, and I just remember that game and the whiteout, and just some really special and cool memories, and again, just so proud of both programs. And men's basketball, probably the best regular season that they've ever had, right? And poised to do great things. And I think the hardship is, right, we didn't get to play it out, but I think the positive is it was another step forward, building block for our program, and with women, right, it just continued, right, and in terms of their dominance. But for men, again, that building block, right, that I think is going to help us spring forward and continue to be at a high level for the future. And both Coach Mulkey and Coach Drew doing such great jobs. And then you think about some of the postseason accolades, Dee Richards and defensive player, or Naismith Defender of the Year, right? So well deserved. And I know that if I'm an offensive player, I don't want her guarding me. I'm telling you that right. I'm telling you that right now. And then, man, the very, very well deserved honor for Coach Mulkey, the Naismith, Hall of Fame, and so happy for her. And again, so well deserved.
Great seasons for both programs. They both finished in the top 5 in the final polls. And, as we record this past weekend would have been the Final Fours for the men in Atlanta, for the women in New Orleans. To think about what might have been, both these teams would have been, most likely number 1 seeds going into the NCAA tournament. Boy, you think about that March Madness run that could have happened here.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think, we really expected both to be number 1 seeds, and certainly, our inside intel, right, for whatever that was worth, led us to believe that both would have been number one seeds. And, I was sitting there dreaming about, hey, who can I call that has a plane that can get me back and forth, right, between the Final Four games, right? And then, hey, if we're going to even dream and think about that, what about between the two national championship games? Yeah. So, again, they were, I think, poised to do some great things. And, I think women's basketball, we were probably playing at the highest level at the time. And then I felt really good that, our men's team was going to get some rest, and, we were a little bit nicked up toward the end and get some energy and rejuvenate a little bit, and then really take a serious run at getting to the Final Four. And you think about your seniors, and you think about Lauren and Juicy and Taya and Aaron on the women's side, and Devontae and Obam and Freddie, and heartbreaking for them, but so proud of the way they handled it. And they'll grow from it. They really will. And I think that's what makes them special is besides the hurt and just the abrupt end to their careers, they've kind of recollected and have said, hey, we're going to move on. We're going to be better, stronger, better because of this. And again, just proud of them all.
And the Baylor family has really done a good job. I mean, during the season, you even mentioned when College Game Day came, that whiteout. I think they've even made a Zoom virtual background because of how packed the Farrell Center was with that. But then the surprise parade for Coach Mulkey, that line, I mean, it just went on and on and on forever. And they're still there rooting for these basketball players and our coaches and everything like that.
Yeah, that was really neat to see, and just the love and the passion that the Baylor family has, and I don't know. I would like to think it certainly the winning piece is important, but I think it for all of us, and I think even for our fans, it grows. Or it goes much deeper, right? That there is this true connection between our fans and our staff and our coaches. This true connection between our fans and our student athletes, and this idea of getting back to preparing champions for life and impacting young lives, and it just, in my opinion, means so much more when it goes way deeper than just the winning piece. And I think that's what makes, in my opinion, that's what makes Baylor special. I really believe that's the human piece of it, this sincere care and concern for wanting to impact life, for wanting to challenge our young people, to help them grow and become better spiritually, become better people, right? Better athletically, better academically, all of those things. I think that's what really makes Baylor unique and special.
If you need a trailer, Flat Rock Trailers has got you covered. From light-duty single-axle utility trailers to the big Tex tandem duals. We also carry a full line of enclosed cargo trailers. Need a motorcycle trailer? We've got them. Need a dump trailer? We've got the largest selection in the state. Oilfield trailers? We carry a full line of big Tex trailers to handle all your needs. Trailer repairs? We repair all makes and models. We'll even rent you a trailer if you need to use one for a day. Flat Rock Trailers, your #1 source for all your trailer needs. Find us at flatrocktrailers.com.
Relationships, community, home. Now more than ever, these are the things that we're holding fast to. Home should restore us from today and ready us for tomorrow. It's where stories are told and relationships are forged. Within those walls, memories are made, laughter is shared, and family is gathered around the table. For these reasons, we believe in home, and that right now, there is no better place to be. If you and your family are looking to buy or sell a home, head over to magnoliarealty.com. Magnolia is a proud sponsor of Baylor Athletics.
Truck Month may be over elsewhere, but at Allen Samuels, we drive forward. Ram Truck Month continues on Motor Trend's Truck of the Year. Choose from hundreds in stock or delivered with a snap of a finger through our multiple locations and partnerships. Allen Samuels follows best practices for a safe environment. Easy turnkey online purchase and credit apps and free pickup and delivery for any auto service. Waco's most trusted dealer, Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat.
Come by. Let's be friends.
Bentwood Realty is a full-service real estate firm with more than 70 high-achieving agents who desire to make a positive impact in their local communities. Their agents stay actively involved in all buying, selling, and investing real estate transactions to make sure their clients receive the utmost level of service. Established in 2011 by brokers Kim Galvan and Rick Hines, both proud Baylor alumni. Call Bentwood Realty today, 254-300-4800. They're at 601 Lake Air Drive in Waco and BentwoodRealty.com.
You're listening to the Sic Em Podcast, a production of Baylor Athletics. Here again are Brooke Bednarz and John Morris.
We're visiting with Mack Rhoades, Baylor's Vice President and Director of Athletics. And, Mack, you mentioned earlier about the continued care for our student athletes, the care team that is in place here. It's always here, always available, but maybe some aspects of this are especially important right now.
Yeah, this is something that has been in place. And, again, I go back to, and it sounds like maybe I'm boastful or I'm bragging, but I'm so proud of our people, right? Because of the way we do care for our student athletes. And again, that includes our coaches, obviously, but that includes, our academic folks. That includes our athletic medicine folks, our athletic performance folks. It includes just so many. And really our what we call care teams, which are made up of our academic people, spiritual people, mental health, nutrition, training, workouts, all of that. They've really been the backbone of our communications with our student athletes throughout this time and while our student athletes are away. And, at minimum, once a week, if not 2 to 3 times a week, reaching out and communicating with our student athletes and making sure that they're okay and making sure that we're doing the right things and that they're in a good place mentally, they're in a good place spiritually. And so they have done just great work, will continue to do great work and are staying, obviously extremely busy. Just, again, focused on our student athletes and making sure that they're doing okay.
With Easter coming up, we do talk a lot about, the 4 pillars of Baylor athletics, one of them which is spiritual growth. And there's even been a couple of unique ways with our football coaching staff and kind of walking us through chapel and things of that nature. How special is it, do you think, that is still being one of those aspects that Baylor is taking care of for our student athletes, even though they aren't here, able to meet with those team chaplains and things of that nature?
Yeah, Brooke, great question, and I think it's the backbone, right? I think it's the foundation, and again, that we're not just saying it, but that we're doing it, and so I think that's really, really meaningful. We were having this conversation today, and I'm certainly will never be mistaken for a pastor, but we were talking about Matthew 7:24 through 27, right? And it reads, therefore everyone who hears these words of mine and puts them into practice is like a wise man who built his house on rock. The rain came down, the streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against the house, yet it did not fall because it had its foundation on the rock, versus the man that didn't, listen and built his house on sand. And really for us, I think that galvanizes who we're trying to be in terms of an athletic department, that we're genuine in terms of our belief, our walk with God, our walk with Christ, and that, when you face crisis, right, you find out really quick, did you build your house on rock or did you build it on sand? And we are far, far from perfect, but I am so proud of all of our staff. I am so proud of our student athletes because I think we're trying and we're working really hard to build our house on rock.
And that's a good message for any time, not just during crisis also. But we're talking primarily athletics, but then you back up and take a 30,000-foot view of Baylor University as a whole. I mean, the foundation of Baylor University is on very solid ground also.
It is. And, obviously great leadership with Dr. Livingstone and our Board of Regents, Chair Clements, and they're doing a unbelievable job of, one, keeping perspective, right, and then leading through, this time of uncertainty. And, this isn't just, and we all know this, right, so I'm not saying anything that people don't know or understand completely, but, it's obviously a health crisis, a healthcare crisis, but it's also an economic crisis. Mm-hmm. And that really hits hard when you think about, higher education. And we're going to have some tough decisions to make. We're going to have a battle in front of us, right, in terms of how we manage this economically as a institution, et cetera. I don't know that we'll ever get back to what we consider as being normal. We'll get back probably close, but it'll be even still a new normal. But we've got, again, as I mentioned, this institution has withstood a lot. I certainly believe, and I know all of our Baylor family believes it's been built on rock, and we're going to make it through this. And I think whenever we get, on the other side of this, to whatever that looks like, I just think God's going to honor us for how we're caring for people first, for how we're conducting business, and I think we're going to be well positioned. I really believe that in my heart that we as an institution are going to be really well positioned when we get on the other side of this, and I also obviously believe that about our athletics department.
Mac, talk to us about the NCAA's decision to give an extra year of eligibility to those in spring sports. I applaud that. I think it's great. There's a lot of factors. There's a lot of layers that go along with that in implementing that.
Yeah, again, you talked about the Big 12 athletic directors, and I failed to mention we spent a lot of time actually talking and speaking into this particular area, this particular decision. And, I think once we began conversation, it was quite obvious that there was no perfect solution. There really wasn't, but we needed to do the best we could to quote unquote, do what was right. And I think we all felt like, and I know I certainly did, felt like it was right to give our spring sports and all of our spring sports student athletes, not just our seniors, but to give them that opportunity for another year. And again, it's permissive legislation, which means not everyone has to do it. We Baylor have made the commitment to do it, and because we've got a great team in our financial services area led by Cody Hall. We're healthy financially and are able to do that. But it's also going to make for some difficult and hard conversations, because when you think about extending everybody a year, and in a year you have to get back to your team limits, and so you think about baseball that provides 11.7 total scholarships, and so this year our current seniors right now, if they want to come back for next year, we're able to exceed that 11.7, and there's some nuances to it without getting really, really complicated, right? But then following that year, we got to get back down to the 11.7. Well, what happens if our juniors today want to take that extra year, and yet we still have prospects coming in? So we're going to have to somehow manage that and get that down to the 11.7 in a year. And the best way to do that is just to begin those conversations now, not wait for a year, to be transparent, to put our cards out on the table and have those conversations with the juniors, with the sophomores, right, with the incoming prospects. And I've got great faith. Our spring sport head coaches are terrific. They get that. They understand that. We've asked them to put a plan in place to really think about, so a year from now, how do we do that? How do we get there? And they've been terrific. So I think it's a really positive. You just need to know and understand that you're not going to be able to accommodate everybody.
Well, I think one thing that people maybe when this first came out, everyone was just thinking about the seniors and that they could come back. But that means that the sophomores who were sophomores now are coming back as sophomores next year if they choose to, as well as far as the athletic department, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, there is some current NCAA legislation, right, that says, before any of this ever happened, that said, hey, if you're a student athlete and you missed your season for extenuating circumstances. So I don't know what that is, but let's say you had valley fever, right, and you couldn't play your season, that you could then, with the support of the institution, file a waiver and regain that year back. Well, as we started talking about seniors versus freshmen, sophomores, juniors, well, those freshmen, sophomores, and juniors would have been able to just file that waiver. And I think, probably, if not 100%, 9 out of 10 times the NCAA was going to, grant it anyway. So let's just go do it right now and get it out in the open and do it up front and really give us an idea of what we're talking about and what we need to manage for the upcoming years.
I think some of our fans listening may have questions about tickets. Maybe some folks were at the Big 12 tournament in Kansas City, and then those games weren't played. The men didn't play. The women hadn't even left Waco yet. NCAA tournament, women were going to host first and second rounds here in the Farrell Center. What would you let our fans know about that?
So I probably need to be better versed in this area, but we are working through the process, and I know that we've communicated, the reimbursement for any of the Big 12, tournament games, and each institution, Big 12 institution, is working with the Big 12, and it's our particular responsibility or our specific responsibility to work with our own fans, and so I think that's in process, right? And we're working to do that. We've already reached out to our season ticket holders, spring sports, right, and that whole reimbursement process. So that's underway, and we've had some fans that have said that, hey, we don't want the money back, and we're grateful for that, and we also understand that we've got some fans that, because of what we're going through, need it back, and completely support that, and understand that they need to get reimbursed. And so again, we're working through all of that.
Relationships, community, home. Now more than ever, these are the things that we're holding fast to. Home should restore us from today and ready us for tomorrow. It's where stories are told and relationships are forged. Within those walls, memories are made, laughter is shared, and family is gathered around the table. For these reasons, we believe in home, and that right now, there is no better place to be. If you and your family are looking to buy or sell a home, head over to MagnoliaRealty.com. Magnolia is a proud sponsor of Baylor Athletics.
Truck Month may be over elsewhere, but at Allen Samuels, we drive forward. Ram Truck Month continues on Motor Trend's Truck of the Year. Choose from hundreds in stock or delivered with a snap of a finger through our multiple locations and partnerships. Allen Samuels follows best practices for a safe environment, easy turnkey online purchase and credit apps, and free pickup and delivery for any auto service. Waco's most trusted dealer, Allen Samuels Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat.
Come by. Let's be friends.
Bentwood Realty is a full-service real estate firm with more than 70 high-achieving agents who desire to make a positive impact in their local communities. Their agents stay actively involved in all buying, selling, and investing real estate transactions to make sure their clients receive the utmost level of service. Established in 2011 by brokers Kim Galvan and Rick Hines, both proud Baylor alumni. Call Bentwood Realty today, 254-300-4800. They're at 601 Lake Air Drive in Waco and BentwoodRealty.com.
If you need a trailer, Flat Rock Trailers has got you covered. From light-duty single-axle utility trailers to the big Tex tandem duals. We also carry a full line of enclosed cargo trailers. Need a motorcycle trailer? We've got them. Need a dump trailer? We've got the largest selection in the state. Oilfield trailers? We carry a full line of big Tex trailers to handle all your needs. Trailer repairs? We repair all makes and models. We'll even rent you a trailer if you need to use one for a day. Flat Rock Trailers, your #1 source for all your trailer needs. Find us at flatrocktrailers.com.
Speaking of tickets and looking ahead, we would right now be heavy into selling season tickets for Baylor football and fall sports. And as we look ahead to the fall, Mac, what does that look like? Look into your crystal ball and tell us what the fall football looks like right now as we record this.
Yeah, so, our current renewal rate right now for football season tickets is 80%, and I think that's really positive, and I believe, we were probably a little bit ahead of the curve in terms of getting our renewals out versus maybe some other institutions. And so, we've had, I think we've had over 500 Baylor Bear Foundation members, text this week, seeking assistance in terms of their accounts and clarification on their football season tickets. And so, there's still great interest. We're in the process of calling those that we haven't heard from. The deadline is April 15th or next Wednesday. Why not? Since the tax deadline was extended till July 15th, I think it was. But so again, we expect that we'll have great response. I think we even have 500 new season tickets sold, and so excited for those fans to select their seats at the appropriate time. So again, indications are that people are excited and are looking forward to a football season, however that may look. And so I just grateful for our fans, for our family to continue to be interested and look forward.
Well, there's a lot to be excited about with this football team. I know everyone was bummed that the spring game was canceled, but with this new football staff, I'm sure you've been in lots of contact with them. How are they handling this, and what are they kind of working through right now?
Yeah, so, Coach Aranda is back in, Louisiana with his family, and he's obviously, engaged daily with the staff, and then now with the 4 hours that we're allowed virtual activity, film, those things, the staff is active, and they're doing some really unique things, and position coaches, they're switching up. That maybe a position coach, if you're for example, if you're the offensive line coach now, you're going to spend a day or 2 days or 3 days, working with the wide receivers, right? And so really trying to take this time and to help build relationships and those things. And so I talk to Coach Aranda every other day, if not every day, and he's handling it well. And again, I know our fans haven't had the opportunity to maybe get to know him like I have, and he's just got a great calmness about him, and he's again just so genuine and extremely thoughtful and smart, and we've even had conversations about when you return to play, and especially if you have a shortened prep time, right? As long as it still provides for health and safety, this isn't going to be about who has the fanciest scheme, or this is going to be about who can tackle, who can block, right? Fundamentals. Again, going through crisis, go back to your base, go back to your fundamentals, and so I think they're doing all of those things. I do think it's hard for our staff, and I know that it's been a struggle in terms of just the uncertainty. Hey, are we even going to play, right? What's it going to look like? I'm not used to all of this time, right? I'm used to, again, student-athlete structure. Staff for the same thing had a lot of structure in terms of all the things that they were doing on a daily basis. And so, they don't want anybody feeling sorry for themselves, but it's been hard, and trying to adjust again to this new normal, and again trying to stay positive, trying to lead by example. In crisis, you just know and understand all eyes are on you, right? And people are looking to you every second, in terms of how you react to information, right? How do you handle a certain situation, right? And so, I think, Coach obviously understands that, and I think the football coaching staff understands that as well.
I know we want to stay optimistic, want to stay positive, but from what you know right now, what does a fall Saturday look like at McLean Stadium with the information you have right now?
Yeah, I'm going to remain hopeful. I think we will play. I think we will play in front of fans. The reality is I think maybe some people will be reluctant, not sure. I think, it will provide us the great opportunity and challenge to say how, if we have fans, right, how do we do that in the safest manner possible? What does that mean? What kind of education are we doing with fans, et cetera, our student athletes? And so my gut tells me we're going to get to a place where we play and we play with fans. I think, we're looking at a couple models. Obviously, best case would be, hey, we're going to kick off like planned and with fans, but we could potentially, if needed, start the season, week 3 and still play a championship before, a conference championship game before Christmas, before the holiday, right? Not impact CFP. And so, and then there's some other models too. We've even talked about, hey, do we just move everything in the spring and kick off in the spring, kick off in March and end in May, and then, what does it look like if we just play conference games? And so a lot of different models that we're talking about and discussing. But my gut and my sense is that we're going to play, and we're going to play with fans, and that's not meant to provide false hope. It's not meant to also not take the situation seriously. But just what we're hearing and all the information and everything that we're gathering, I do think there's a chance that we'll play with fans, and it might not be right at the beginning of September. It might be a little bit later, but we'll remain hopeful.
Remaining hopeful. Something we all need right now. And while we know you're super busy, we're gonna wrap this up, but we have a final question for you, and it's going to be kind of a staple with this podcast, but we want to know, when all this finally gets back to normal, or the new normal, what are you looking forward to most when Baylor athletics return?
Man, I really miss our student athletes. I really, they provide such energy, at least for me personally. We had a Zoom call with our student athlete advisory committee, so probably 20-plus student athletes. And, just almost brought tears to my eyes, just to see them on the screen, to have the conversation with them, just to be with them, to understand and talk about what they're going through and what's important to them. And I know I'm not just speaking on behalf of me, but the staff, the coaches, I'm really looking forward to seeing our student athletes. And, I don't even know if the new normal, if we're not going to be able to provide hugs, but, man, I hope we can, and I'm looking forward to hugging our student athletes and letting them know how much we love and care for them.
Amen to that. Well, we appreciate your time. We know you're busy, and you've given us a big chunk of a morning here. Thank you very much for that. Thank you for your leadership, and we'll let you get back to work. But great to hear from you today.
Well, thank you both. Appreciate you, J-Mo, and you've been such a great friend and a source of inspiration in everything you do. And Brooke, thank you for taking the time, and I'm certainly honored to be part of the podcast. And hey, just to all of our Baylor family, just prayers out to everybody, and please stay safe, please stay healthy, and you know what? Happy Easter. Enjoy a wonderful Sunday. Rejoice and do that with family.
You've been listening to the Sic Em Podcast, presented by your friend in the car business, Alan Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat in Waco. Online at alansamuelsdcj.com. The Sic Em Podcast has been a production of Baylor Athletics.